Sky Cross. Hi, my name is Anna.
And I'm Peyton.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with a reaction to the Queens, and we will be watching MAMAMOO AYA.
We love MAMAMOO. We basically have a big fat crush on every single one of them. Yeah, we're just really excited for this comeback. Obviously, we watched the teasers, and just so y'all know, we did watch the pre-release Tinga, but we didn't make a reaction to it because it was technically still a pre-release. Let's go!
Let's go! 1.
That's as good as it's gonna get. I give up. We've had lots of technical difficulties.
The fan on the... That was cool.
Crazy crown. Those are very crisp consonants. Oh. Oh. Oh.
I wonder what the...
Also, but this song is like, at least the verse so far was different from what I was expecting. Oh. The song reminds me of something. Oh, okay. I just remembered that solar scene from the teaser. You can hear the horns. Drama. Oh, you can hear the brrr matching her rapping.
I love that they're dancing with male backup dancers, but they're like doing the same moves as the male backup dancers.
Mm. Oh yeah, they're using a lot of vocal fry. Like, build up. Oh. Okay, I just don't get how... Oh. Okay.
Ooh, bum, 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 percussion.
Oh. I get that, like, each of them have their own individual, like, scenes, stories. I just don't know what they are. Cause, like, I
don't know what the gravestone, like the tombstones are.
Oh. Cause I feel like, oh, the guitar strumming in the background totally changed the vibe. Oh. And then the bass line that they just added is like a different style than the kind of bass they were playing earlier.
She's so cool.
I just thought it was cute. Right? What the heck? Huh? I mean, this is what I was expecting more of the entire song to be based on the teaser, but it's...
I wasn't expecting the like
to jump. Not a transition, just a jump. Huh? Like, you can clearly tell that they're referencing specific characters, but...
Okay, so I'm going to keep my comments kind of quick because as good as they are at performing, they are definitely known for vocals, so I want to give Anna more time. But my first comment is they just have so much charisma, like right from the very first step, and the way they take the very first step and like draw it out, and they use like, they step and then their hip rolls and then their shoulder rolls. It was just like, wow, so much charisma, and it's through the entire thing. And on a similar note, you can feel like their stage presence and their performance quality through the music video, because they just have so much of it, because performing on stage and performing in front of cameras is very different. But if you have that much charisma, performance quality, like it just comes across even through a camera. And so every time I watch anything that they, like one of their music videos or something, I'm always reminded of just how good they are at performing, because I'm like, wow, I just get kind of like entranced in whatever I'm watching. But like, you couldn't see a ton of the dance, you just saw like snippets of it. And so I don't know how it fits together as one whole picture, but I did really like the slower choruses, the level changes they were using, and the way they were snaking their body was matching the line that was playing on, I don't know, it was like a wind instrument, but it was like snaking and they'd snake up and it was so cool. But the part that I'm most curious to see is how it all fits together on one stage, because when it has the drastic change to the end of the fast part, from what I could see of the dance, I noticed that they had kept some similar elements to it. Like in the very beginning, they had done cha-cha-esque feet, but they were always slower and with more hip. But then at the end, like it's super fast and they're like adding a lot of hip and a lot of arms. Or they still had a lot of level changes, but it was much quicker. It wasn't the snaky, like slow, sensual movements. So I'm curious how it all fits on stage and if it's all related or if it's going to feel like two different dances, you know? But yeah, other than that, I don't have a ton to say. So, Anna's turn.
Wow, no pressure. Anna, talk about the vocals. I wrote
부담?
very few comments.
No.
부담 많이. 엄청 많이. But the first comment that I did write down, although not related to vocals, was kind of what I was saying in the music video reaction, that not that the song is low energy or intensity, but the song itself, I don't know exactly how to explain it. I guess like there are fewer layers than I expected. This song was like a little slower and like you could hear each distinct layer instead of like a bunch of layers all working together. Oh my gosh. But then that ended up being the dance ending. So you mentioned the beginning of the chorus where it's like slower and they're slinking their way up along to the flute line, but that line is like totally the theme / motif for the rest of the song, because even if you listen to that line alone, it really establishes like the whole vibe that they're going for this whole song. Before I talk about like vocals a little bit, and even it's not really vocals, one more comment that I had was something that was pretty cool that stuck out to me. There's that line in the pre-chorus, like for the silence before the chorus drop, 툭 떨어진다. The melody of that line changes a little bit when they sing it in like the really intense ending, because they also sing that line as part of the really intense ending, because for the ending time when they sing it, it gets all chromatic. And when I say chromatic, things like it put you on edge and you feel a little uncomfortable, like ooh, what's happening? Specifically the ending note of that line on the 다 of 떨어진다, that's the most uncomfortable note, but the entire song ends very abruptly on that note. So the ending of the song is just like putting you on edge and you're like, what? That's how it ends? So that really stuck out to me. On to the few vocal comments that I have, where I will not even be talking about like their vocals really, because I can't comment on like their voices sound good on this note or this note. Their voices always sound good. So like, yeah, mainly like diction. I mentioned in the reaction too, like they use a lot of vocal fry in the song, like that's what vocal fry is. And you can hear it especially in like Hwasa's part the most. Another thing that I mentioned earlier, the 툭 떨어진다, the 툭 is like whispered, like 툭 떨어진다. Because that part also is like a stylistic choice that happens during like usually silence before a chorus drop. So since it's like silence whispering in your ear, it like tickles your ear and you're like, oh. And MAMAMOO as a whole, they use, not just in this song, but as a whole, they use a lot of stylistic choices when they're singing. But the thing is, there are people that use a lot of stylistic choices like that to cover up bad singing, but they don't do that because like they're great singers. It really just highlights their vocal performance because they use it as a tool to like suit the vibe of the rest of the song instead of like trying to cover anything up. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
TLDR, Queens are back and they are just as fantastic at performing, singing, everything as expected. Like really, what else did we expect? But because they are MAMAMOO, obviously we enjoyed watching, we enjoyed listening, and Honestly, it's just amazing.
So that being said, if you enjoyed this reaction video, if you love Mamamoo, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!